that Hawaii All-Star Weekend flag football game, like tearing up his knee and never being the same.
Yeah.
That stuff like that.
Getting a little warped there, dude.
Yeah, we're kidding now.
You still there?
Yeah, I'll get you.
I think the Russians are jamming you, buddy.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to The Thing. You have kind of a spiel you do here, so...
Man, you gotta do it right, man. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls around the world, this is the Dan vs. D Sports and Stuff podcast, or DVD for short, aka DVD player. I'm your player, D with 2 E's, and this is my dude who is not only not in the same building as me, but also at least 5 hours away from me, and his name is...
Dan with an A-N.
There we go. And he's being joined with a special guest tonight.
Yeah, please welcome to the show my dad, Chris, which I guess I'm not allowed to call him, so my dad named Dad.
I have the permission to do so. So we got Chris.
Hey, how you doing?
Tonight.
So I thought this would be kind of fun. I referenced this in a previous episode, and also this is the first time a listener has requested to be on the show. So
I got grievances, being that it's Festivus.
See, yeah, we're
he's wanted a piece of this pie. That's all he wanted to do. Want a piece of this pie.
I'm getting out on the ground floor.
See, you know, that's why I say, listeners, send us email, tweet us. We've never received any listener email or tweets. So literally whatever you send us, we will read on the air. Even, well, probably not if it's hate speech, but pretty much anything else is fair game.
And by the way, to put in perspective, we are less outnumbered now because we have another Boston fan, especially with the Patriots. So.
I imagine this is going to be a pretty NFL heavy episode.
I mean, he loves his Red Sox.
Yeah, Red Sox, Celtics, all of it. Bruins.
No.
I used to follow the Bruins when I was a kid a lot.
I didn't know you kept track of the Bruins.
Bobby Orr was my hero.
Oh, man.
Bobby Orr.
Number 4, that's right. But, yeah, I like them all. They got to be in their jersey or wear our colors.
Boston College.
BC. Phelan's down there.
Oh,
Matt Ryan.
Unfortunate deep one for the end zone. Phelan is down there.
Oh, he got it!
Did he get it?
He got it!
Touchdown! 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 Touchdown, Boston College! He did it! He did it! Flutie did it! He got Phelan in the end zone! Touchdown!
Hey, what I will say though is I am grateful for you guys, for your Boston College Golden Eagles for dethroning Duke off their number 1 spot.
That's right.
Yeah.
Every now and then it pays off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not every week.
I remember from a couple of years ago, and I forget the guy's name now, but the Boston College guy who they'd had a horrible season, and it was his senior year, and he was about to graduate, and somebody asked him in the press conference what he remembered, what would be his favorite memory from playing for Boston College, and he was like, I guess going out to eat.
Yeah, I remember that.
All the good restaurants.
That poor guy.
I remember that.
But, I thought this would be kind of fun. When we started this thing, we really didn't have a point. We really didn't have a thesis statement. And it's kind of become, we're not reporters, we're not athletes, we're fans. And so it's really kind of us talking about the experience of being fans a lot of time.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where we go when we have guests, usually.
Yeah, and besides, thesis statements are for college, so we're not there anymore.
Yes, no. So instead of having a point, we're going to ramble about nothing. That's really what I'm trying to say, is that the show has no topic and no direction.
So, Dan, what you're saying is we are unofficially the Seinfeld of sports podcasts?
Yes. No, we are the Seinfeld podcast.
It's a show about nothing.
About nothing.
But anyways, figure we could just dive into what's kind of been in the news lately. You mentioned to me that you wanted to talk about that Pittsburgh New England game. So
man, if we don't show up with better defense, we're screwed. I did not like the conversion of third downs at will, and if it wasn't for that the incomplete pass bailout call, the defense that day and that last possession would have lived in infamy, because that 69-yard reception to Juju Smith-Schuster and refusing to like push him out of bounds or keeping it to maybe a 20-yard gain instead. I'm still thinking about that, and it just makes me cringe.
It looked horrible. The defense looked horrible, and it was horrible. They couldn't get him off the field on third down
because it's called not having Jamie Collins Sr. to help bail you out against athletic running backs like Le'Veon Bell.
Right.
We had a defensive lineman trying to line up against him. That wasn't gonna work.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, but I guess that's sort of a hallmark of the Belichick era, right? Is look like crap, somehow win?
Yeah,
question mark.
Surprise the hell out of everyone.
I mean, I'm not taking anything away from Kyle Van Noy. He's our best linebacker we got, but if Kyle Van Noy is your best guy out of your linebacker core, I know we had the injury hit to Dante Hightower. He's out for the year. But if Kyle Van Noy is your best linebacker, then that's not the best case scenario.
Well, now we have James Harrison, so
yeah, there you go.
Who's at 39, I believe, actually.
Did you see he tweeted when he signed with the team today? He took a selfie with Brady, and he said, "Finally, a teammate older than me."
Yeah, this should be interesting.
Well, he gets to play with a real quarterback.
Yeah, even if they get nothing but intel from him, it should be interesting. Or just upset Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is not happy. I don't think that they signed.
No.
Man, hey, are you familiar with the term yinzers? That's a new term for me, because over the last few months, because I learned that a person I follow on YouTube who's from Pittsburgh, who roots for the Pittsburgh teams, the fans are referred to as yinzers.
Yeah, I've heard it.
But
I've heard it.
Yeah.
It feels like a word I shouldn't say. You know what I mean? It feels like it's like
how people in Boston might say "use guys." In Pittsburgh, they say "yins."
Oh,
say "hi yins," "hi yins," "hi yins." It means how you, or how you doing. Or,
okay.
Yeah, we would say "use guys."
Okay, because Dan had me worried for a second. I was like, are we gonna have to do that homeworld censorship something for that?
No. More.
Also, you can say as many cuss words as you want, Chris, because he has the power of editing to censor it. So
yeah,
can't edit his old man. No way.
You can say words like.
I would never say that word. I never taught you that.
No,
you
I
have to, man. You're from Boston, man. You got to. That's like one of those unwritten rules of being a Bostonian. You have to say that word, man.
We work in profanity as other artists work in oils or clay. Wow. See, mostly when they play the Yankees.
Those damn Yankees.
No, I was going to say something else about that, but it's gone.
See, you forgot.
I forgot because I was thinking about Cuss words that I didn't learn from my dad.
Wait, what were you about to talk about? What, Yinzers or something?
Yins.
Yeah, no, I didn't mean that it was necessarily like an offensive term. I just meant like it sounded like something that I shouldn't repeat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But no, that's interesting. I'd never heard that before.
I didn't know about it until like I listened to Urinating Tree. Like, and that's the guy's name. So like I need to send you like the link of like of that week in sports ball where he like actually goes on the segment of the Patriots one, and I think he sums it as a Pittsburgh fan. I think he sums it up completely.
Yeah, totally. Send that to me.
Yeah, I will.
Yeah. But yeah, so that game happened, and that probably is going to determine home field advantage in the AFC. That just crazy call where Jesse James catches the ball, pivots, dives into the end zone, hits the ground, ball pops out just a slight little bit out of his hands, and that's an incomplete pass.
I mean, I'm a fan, like, and I'm biased, as I'm probably just as biased as any person, like, who roots for the Patriots, like as a Patriot fan, but like, I didn't really like what I saw outside like that final drive, which why didn't you do that in the first place if they couldn't stop Gronk? Yeah. But it's just, I mean, I didn't really see too much of the game because I had like a lot of stuff, had to go to a funeral and I had to do other things. But the parts I did see, it just seemed like they straight up dominated us on all three phases.
Pretty much. It was just one of those days.
It wasn't a great game. I think they'll play better at home.
I mean, it reminds me of a couple years ago when we played against the Eagles and like they scored like a touchdown in like on special teams, offense and defense, and we like turned the ball like 3 times and still had a chance to tie it.
Yeah,
but we just made too many mistakes. That we lost to Chip Kelly. How did we lose to Chip Kelly?
We lost to Chip Kelly.
His teams were okay.
Mm-hmm. That's how they stopped playing ball.
Yeah, I mean he should never have gone to coach San Francisco. That was stupid, but yeah, no, that was interesting. It really looked like last week or like this past Sunday, the Bills game, that they really like it was just a kind of back and forth, and then they kind of blew it out right at the end.
Right.
But it was a close game for about a good 45 minutes there.
I was getting worried.
Especially the pick 6. I was like, oh, Brady, that was a bad throw, and then it got returned. Like, and I had like this sixth sense of like something like that was about to happen because I think he threw like a ball that nearly got nearly got intercepted, and then like a couple plays later, boom, returned, gone.
Yeah, you can almost feel it, because he's throwing interceptions in the last 3 games, which is not normal. He
didn't really get pressured in this game, but throughout this season, though, I'm really concerned about the offensive line. They've given up a lot more sacks, like up to this point, than they had like all year.
Yeah,
and Pittsburgh like kind of came up with like a blueprint, like playing it straight up and then trying to get that 4-man rush, and they were succeeding. Like, they're not really known for their pass rush, but they were getting to Brady, and the offensive line just has been bullied in some of these matchups against these stronger lines. Like, did you see the one in like San Diego when crud, it's not San Diego anymore, it's the Los Angeles Chargers. Wow. I'm never gonna be used to that, guys.
They still suck. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's not like
the city does not matter.
You can take the Chargers out of San Diego, but you can't take the San Diego out of the Chargers.
There you go.
But when you have guys like the guy that has like the rocker name, as we discussed last time, like Joey Bosa and other guys that are actually gifted and like pressuring the quarterback. When you look at the history, the Patriots have struggled against teams like that. The Giants twice, because they were able to do that up until like towards the end of the third quarter of last year's Super Bowl. Atlanta was known for doing that.
Right.
If they weren't so gassed, then we wouldn't have been able to pick them apart. But they were getting at Brady the entire time. And guess what? That was a pick six that probably would have like ended the game if it was against any other team that wasn't the Patriots. So
I agree. I think they would have given up, and I think that shows their character a lot, and I think it shows how well they were coached. And I've read how well they're conditioned because they were not gassed.
Yep.
And I think that's something year to year that you always see with that team. They have some games during the season where they throw out a stinker here or there, but generally I always feel like they're pretty well prepared for who they meet. And in that game, maybe that was their game from the beginning. Look, we're gonna take a bunch of body blows and we're gonna wear them down and come back in the fourth quarter, but still 28-3.
So I want to build on that. Like, I want you to take me on like a journey ride through your emotions and your thoughts from when it got the 28-3, and then when it got to the completely opposite, us like raising that Lombardi trophy. Just kind of take me on like a little field trip of what you was feeling. Because with me, I was like really wanting to give up and everything, but for some reason, I just kept on watching the game because I just wanted something to hang my hat to. I just want us to at least score a touchdown and just be able to watch that, support my team that way. Let's at least score a touchdown. Let's get on the board that way. So take me on like a field trip of your emotions, your thoughts from that night, Chris.
Well, I'll tell you that game I've seen a lot of football in my time. That was probably the greatest football game I've ever seen. Obviously, it ended up in our favor, but I watched, and they started getting behind, and then they started getting behind, and I didn't get too discouraged because I just felt New England was the better team. I thought that their playoff experience, would be a huge boost to them, kind of regardless of what happened, because Atlanta had never been there before. And that is a factor, generally.
Yeah.
And Atlanta has a very young team. And so anyway, as they kept getting behind more and more, I started getting more and more like, oh, come on, and when
you got discouraged, yeah.
I did get discouraged. And then when the pick six happened, that was when I kind of went, I can honestly say I never turned the TV off, but I started paying attention to it less. I decided to do things like, I think I'll sort my socks, So I went into the bedroom.
Yeah, because I tell you though, like after that pick six, that was like pretty much closing like the end of the first half, and that like single handedly like made me not enjoy the halftime show with Lady Gaga.
Right.
Yeah, I did not actually
watch commercials or anything, and
I had it on. My thought was, and I think early in the third quarter, I believe Atlanta scored again, right? And I think that's when they made it 28-3. At that point, all I thought of was, just score a touchdown. I didn't want them to look bad. I didn't want them to look bad, so I thought, well, if they could score a couple of touchdowns, they're going to lose the game. But at least they'll make it interesting. And people will
put up a fight.
Yeah, they'll put up a fight. And, and because I knew everyone would be calling for Brady's head after that one.
Yeah, he's old. It's time to hang him up.
Right. And so, then they like kind of scored once, and then they scored twice. And, I was watching it, and I honestly, I didn't, I stopped sorting socks in the fourth quarter about halfway through when it was starting to get close. I think I was down by 8 is when I was really like, hey, they.
And that was when Atlanta got the ball back and they marched down the field in like 3 plays.
Yeah, and then they threw to
Jones,
Julio there, and when he caught that one too, I was like, all right, well they did good.
That's the one crazy catch that you need to beat the Patriots in the Super Bowl.
Right. And then what happened after that? There was like a sack and 2 penalties, right? Pushed him back out of...
Yeah. Was it like a strip sack or something?
It was a strip sack.
Hightower.
Yeah, strip sack. And then there were 2 10-yard penalties that pushed him back even further.
Oh, that was a separate like offensive possession they had. Like there was a strip sack, then we scored.
That's right.
And
Oh,
then,
that's right.
and
You're
then,
right.
My
Then
bad.
they got backed up. Like they're still like, okay, we can probably still seal it if we get in field goal range, kick a field goal, and the penalty, like the sack, and then the penalties, like got them like out of it and whatnot. So
Right, because there was 2 separate times that they were kind of right on the brink of probably wrapping it up.
But
because it
when,
backed them up, and then Julio caught it, and then like there was a penalty, and then it was a weird
Crazy.
exchange.
it was just weird. I remember a sportscaster talking one time about games like that, and he said there's certain times when you can just see, like, it's almost like they sprinkled pixie dust on the team. You just kind of know, you see it happening, and it's like everything comes together. Like, when was the last time you saw a team get 2 2-point conversions in a row? That almost never happens, But they did it. They pulled it off. And then that catch that Edelman made.
That Jules catch, man.
I've got a picture of it.
That's all.
It was just, once that stuff started happening, I was like, they're going to win this game. They're going to win this game because Atlanta then got back on their heels. Atlanta was celebrating on the sideline. You could see the owner and his wife, and they were, had their arms up and all that stuff. And when all of that started to turn, when it started to go against them.
That's when they took away that birthday cake.
Yeah,
that they already lit.
I think that's what happened. I think mentally it really did affect them, and they started to look at it differently. We could actually lose this game.
I remember at one point during that, because Dee and I watched it together, we both got pretty upset. And I remember, I think, didn't we step outside at one point and we talked about it for a few minutes?
Wow. Yep. And plus there's a running joke. There's a running joke that my girlfriend thought she was like bad luck. So every time she kept stepping out, that's when you did something positive. So she thought she was a jinx like the whole time.
But it was the same sort of thing where we were like, you know what? It's cool. We had a great season.
Yeah.
We still get to watch our team play in the Super Bowl. Let's just enjoy the rest of this game. We know it's not going to go well. It's cool. And then we both kind of settled down, and that was right kind of at the point where it started to turn, and just absolutely nuts.
Yeah, and then I think, for me, like I said, that stuff never happened. The 2 conversions were really what really made me really believe. And then, as soon as it's like, wow, it's going to overtime now. And when they won that toss, I knew.
You knew it was over.
Game is
over.
over.
It was over.
They're not Atlanta isn't going to see the ball again because there's just no way that they're going to be denied now. There just isn't any way, And and I still am in disbelief. I still am in disbelief. That was,
and before that Super Bowl game, I was not a fan of James White. I wasn't. I thought he was just I thought he was just maybe taking over a roster spot because I didn't really at first like his game because I was more for Deion Lewis and the Garrett Blunt I was more of those guys. I just thought he was just just a third wheel. But I tell you, when he played and he could contribute to all those points, what did he contribute to? What did he contribute to? Maybe 16 points or something? More than that?
More than that.
He scored 3 touchdowns.
He scored 3 touchdowns.
I think one of the 2-point conversions, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I remember reading a graphic about it. Actually, when I went to Gillette Stadium last February with my brother after the Super Bowl, we went, and they had all James White's statistics in there and that jersey that he wore. And I couldn't believe how many points were attributed to him. Something like 11 catches and 3 touchdowns and whatever. But
somebody had 20, what's 6? It's so 22 points or something. Yeah.
He kept catching passes out of the backfield and making them run around.
Right. The thing about him is that I don't think he's a particularly gifted runner per se. One, though, is he's really tough and he's hard to get on the ground. But he's willing to accept that role, the role that Kevin Falk had. And I'm trying to think of some other
We always gotta have one like that.
Yeah.
Our system always needs a guy like that.
He said in an interview, he goes, if they use me for one play, fine. If they use me for 20 plays, fine, I'm ready. And I think in this day and age, in that sport particularly, how many teams do you hear, hey, throw me the ball more, I think he's unselfish. And
was gonna be like Keyshawn Johnson, give me the damn ball.
Yeah, that kind of stuff.
Book included.
Yeah, and I think in New England they'll probably send you packing if that's your attitude, because one of the things I like about their team is everyone plays. Pretty much. Even if you're like one of their best players on the team, they will still like trade you somewhere. Like, I mean, look, Exhibit A, Jamie Collins. Right.
Yeah.
Like, well, if you don't buy into the system, you won't stay.
Cassius Marsh, he played like about half the season. They're like, okay, he's not really what we need. Cut.
They cut. He was a safety.
Lawyer Malloy.
No, he was a cornerback. They cut Lawyer Malloy, but they also cut. Oh no, Lawyer Malloy. You're right.
Yeah, because it was right before the beginning of the season.
Yeah, I was like a Ty Law. No, Lawyer Malloy. They cut right.
And
second game.
And then he played
for the. Cut it.
Yeah, he played for the Bills after that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was the year where we lost to them 31-0 the first game of the season.
Yeah.
And then went 14-2 and beat them 31-0 at the end of the year. I remember that.
That's right.
Yeah, that was a Saturday game. I remember that.
That was fantastic. 2003, man.
Wow, really? That
was 2003.
Mm.
Yo, the thing about it, let's put it in perspective. Who's Brady throwing to right now? He's throwing to Danny Amendola, Chris Hogan, well, he's been inactive, Rob Gronkowski, James White, Jacob Hollister, Brandon Cooks, Philip Dorsett, and Kenny Britt, who we recently acquired. That is a lot more talent than who he started out throwing to. David Givens, David Patton, Jermaine Wiggins as our tight end.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
I remember Wiggins. Oh man, J.R. Redmond.
They caught all kinds of passes in that Super Bowl.
Antoine Smith running the ball.
That's right.
Yeah. Kevin Falk back then.
Kevin Falk was the lead runner.
Man, we came a long way.
Don't forget about Shea Caldwell though.
Oh my gosh!
With those starry eyes.
The less we talk about the 016, the better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
But that was just kind of I really want to get the DVD and rewatch that game because it was just like an experience.
Yeah. I have the game. It's the UK version, but I have the full sequence of the game.
Yeah. You put it on the Google Drive. Yeah, I need to. Mm-hmm. I am legit gonna sit down and actually watch it at some point.
I know. I was waiting for you because I've been wanting to watch it 10 times over. I've been wanting to watch it at least 10 times over by now.
I've watched it a few times. I still can't believe it. But yeah, okay.
But
I'll take it.
Okay, Dad. So,
the initiation time.
Oh, what am I gonna do? Is there an initiation?
Kind of.
Is it like the Chiefs initiation?
No.
No, okay.
The what initiation?
The Chiefs initiation. When I made Chief in the Coast Guard, you go through initiation.
Oh no!
I had to dress up, make a costume. They have a mock trial with a judge.
Oh wow,
yeah.
That sounds intense.
Oh yeah, they throw food at you. They do all kinds of stuff. I had to sit in an electric chair. Other stuff I can't mention.
Electric chair.
I had to sit in an electric chair.
Yeah. I'm still laughing about the story that Dan's told me, your time there about the whole intercom thing.
Intercom.
People make announcements and stuff.
Oh, was that Siemens name? Please tell that story.
Oh no.
There was this really old lady who was the CO, commanding officer's secretary. She was in her 80s. This woman in the summertime.
Old lady, man.
This woman in the summertime would have a space heater underneath her desk. When people go up to see the CO, and she'd be there with a blanket and a space heater. That's how old she was. Anyway, So she didn't understand a lot of stuff. So people would call up there and say, hey, can you make an announcement over the PA system? And like one thing or another. It would be like, yeah, semen stains, because, you know. You know, in the Coast Guard, we have seaman apprentice or, you know, seaman that's a rank, you know, we're a sea service. And so she would announce it.
It's a rank, okay.
So we're all lined up like an inspection or something, and she announces this over the entire unit. Just stuff like that. People would think of creative things to ask her to say over the PA without getting busted. You know, oh man, it was crazy. Another time we were working in the middle of the night. It was like 3:00 in the morning, and this loudspeaker you could hear all over the surrounding neighborhoods. It was really loud. And about 3:00 in the morning, a guy got on there and just grabbed the loudspeaker and started singing La Bamba. Remember that song, La Bamba? Over it, you know, and neighbors called and complained. And they're like, we don't want to hear La Bamba coming through our bedroom window. And
Man.
3:00 in the morning, we got in trouble. Anyway.
Oh man!
Yeah,
but,
well, we could tell Coast Guard stories all night, but
or what we try to do, like I guess our initiation is like whenever we have somebody new come on the show,
okay,
we try to ask them like since this is like loosely a sports podcast, we want to ask the person. Well, we mostly talk about sports, and then like we'll like maybe trail off somewhere else, but wherever our minds decide to take us. But in this case, we try to ask people like, hey, how did you get into sports and how did you become a sports fan yourself? Like what events or what people or influences like led you in the path of being the sports fan that you are known for today?
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, it's been a lifelong passion for me, I guess. You know, when I was a kid growing up in the Boston area, there was sports everywhere, you know? I mean, the good thing about growing up in Boston is there's always something in season, you know. We have Red Sox, we had the Bruins, we had the Celtics, we had, what am I missing? We had the Patriots, anyway.
Hey, did you have Dan Aykroyd during the basketball season?
Yeah, we had
for the Celtic Pride.
Yeah, we had that too. You know? But there was always something going on, and at different times in my life, you know, when I was really young, I really liked hockey, and I emulated those stars, you know. I wanted to be Bobby Orr when I grew up, or whatever. And then it was the Red Sox, and then the Patriots, you know. I mean, so it was always kind of flowing through my life. I remember riding in a car with my father, and we could hear Johnny Most on the radio in the car describing a Celtics game, you know. I mean, and this guy was something else, you know. And so it kind of built this interest for me. You know, it was something I shared with my dad. So, you know, my dad took me to see the Patriots play, the Boston Patriots play.
Oh, is that the one with the logo of the Patriot hiking the football?
Pat Patriot, that's right.
Because I love that. I love that logo.
It was 1967. We went to Fenway Park. Fenway.
67? Wait, the football game was at Fenway?
Yeah, the Patriots, their first couple of years in the league, they played in Fenway, and then they played in, was it Harvard Stadium or
I think so,
Northeastern Stadium before they built Sullivan Stadium. So anyway, my dad took me to see the Boston Patriots play the Houston Oilers in 1967. Ooh. I saw Gino Cappelletti play, and one of the guys that played on that team is a sportscaster now. I forget his name. Anyway, I was a little kid, you know, and what I remember most about that game was just sitting there with my father and seeing these men run out on the field. They were the biggest people I ever saw in my life. I couldn't believe they were real in these big red jerseys, you know.
And just crash into each other.
Yeah, it was excuse me. It was really good, you know. Anyway, great experience. And then in the summertime, we went to see the Red Sox play, you know, and I saw Carl Yastrzemski. And I saw, you know, all the great stars back then, but I can remember sitting in the stands with my dad, and he would tell me about people that he saw play when he was younger. And, you know, my dad saw Ted Williams play in Fenway Park. You know?
What?
Yeah. And he told me that Ted Williams would always keep the bat on his shoulder until he had 2 strikes against it. He wouldn't even take the bat off his shoulder until he had 2 strikes. And stuff like that. He goes, he would just stand there because he knew, you know, and stuff. And
Yo, I'm being enriched by like I'm being like, you know, treated to like an enriched history like right now with every word that you speak right now, and like I'm just like grateful of that. Like this is like a blessing just be able to hear like this rich history already from what you're speaking. So thank you for that. So keep going.
I'm just, you know, I was just lucky to grow up in that area. You know, I always felt bad for people that came from places in the country that didn't have a lot of, you know, like that. I mean, sports to me is like, it connects people, you know, it can connect people from different cultures or from people different social status or whatever to have one common ground. You can go to a game and sit next to somebody who has nothing in common with you, but for a few hours in an afternoon, you can all share one thing. You know what I mean? I like that. But anyway, so my dad took me to games, you know, now and again, and I have a vivid memory of my dad letting me stay up till 12:38 a.m. in the morning in 1975 to see Carlton Fisk hit that home run off the left pole in Fenway Park. I saw it.
Man, he let you stay up on a school night?
Yeah. He did.
Yes.
My mother was not happy with him. But he was not going to send me to bed, not when we sat through like 27 hours of this game. You know, and just stuff like that was always in me. I really connected with the team and with the city. And,
did you say 27 hours?
That game was a long game. It was like 13.
It went to like 13, 14 innings.
13, 14 innings. It ended at 12:38 a.m.
Man.
But, you know, and then when I was a teenager, I joined the Coast Guard and moved away, you know, and so I moved away from my home. And then, you know, it became even more important to me because that was my connection with my home. I lived in Kodiak, Alaska, 6,000 miles away, and I could turn on the TV and watch the New England Patriots now play a game. And I watched the 1986 World Series, that horrible year. But I mean, I watched all those games from my living room in Kodiak, Alaska. And to me, that was my connection with home because through my military career, I was always traveling, you know, and stuff. And, and dragging my kids along with me, you know, and stuff. And, so then I got to share those moments with my kids, my son and my daughter, you know, and stuff. And I hoped I could at least instill that into them to some degree.
And it's interesting that you say that because like the relationship that you have with your son Dan is almost like a mirror like to like my relationship I have with my dad, like my late dad. He loved like his Dodgers. I think he liked them back when they were the Brooklyn Dodgers. He loved his Dodgers. He loved his Rams. He loved his 76ers.
Yeah.
And sometimes, every time, and he instilled in me like getting his I guess just keeping track of like, you know, the teams and whatnot. So there was times where I was like actually keeping track of some of his players like more than he was. Like, hey, he used to play for your team, but now he's playing for them, man. And it was just great. Like, just being able to have those experiences with him. So yeah, I totally like can understand where you're coming from on that.
It was real great that this week we got to sit and like have a football Sunday and sit and watch football together because it's been probably not since I was in high school, really.
We watched 2 or 3 games this weekend and it was great because, you know, I usually sit in here. I come up in my little man cave and close the door and sit here by myself and watch games and I'll text Dan, you know, and stuff or whatever, but it's just not the same, you know. But, but I think that's what it is. You know, my dad passed on, you know, his thoughts on things, like I was saying. You know, he saw Ted Williams play, saw Bill Russell. And then I got to, you know, sit here with my kid. And, you know, I took Daniel to Fenway Park and to Gillette Stadium because I wanted him to see those places, you know. And we watched. I'm really happy that Dan and I sat and watched the Red Sox win a World Series, you know, together. And what year was the first? Was it 07? No, 04. 04. I'm sorry. 04. And then we watched the Patriots win a Super Bowl in Kodiak in 2001.
I remember that. Yeah.
You know, in Alaska of all places. It's just that's to me is what it is, and I would hope someday if he has kids, he'll pass on his thoughts on the games and stuff like that. Because
you know what's amazing? The Patriots' first Super Bowl win was called by John Madden and Pat Summerall. When did their last pairing together for a Super Bowl?
It was, yeah.
Yeah. I don't like what the Patriots are doing right now. I think they ought to just play for overtime. We were all sitting there going, just shut up, because they always lose in overtime.
Play for overtime.
They sent in a kid, Tom Brady, with big cojones and just let him do whatever the hell they wanted to do. And that's what Drew Bledsoe told him.
Said, hey, kid, sling it.
Sling it, kid. Do whatever you think is right.
Sling it.
Don't listen to them,
What team are you a fan of the longest right now?
Probably. See, it's tough because I did all. I would have to say probably the Red Sox, only because when I was a kid, baseball was everything. The Patriots were the laughingstock of the league.
Like 1991's 1-15.
Even before that, they were terrible.
What, more terrible than 1-15?
Well, I guess they were just a very. I don't think they were well coached.
They were an expansion franchise.
They had a shitty stadium. One of the things that my dad told me one time was life before the Patriots. He told me when he was a young man in his 20s or 30s or whatever, he goes, if we wanted to see football, we drove to New York and watched the Giants play. And I was like, well, why did we used to go to Giants games? And I was like, well, why didn't you watch the Patriots? And he goes, there were no Patriots. So he must have been talking the 1950s, I'm thinking.
Right, yeah. Yeah, that would have been, the New York Football Giants.
So, when I was young, the Patriots sucked. They were the laughingstock of the league. And I tell Dan, you have no idea. You've lived pretty much your whole life with a competitive team, more than competitive.
Yeah.
I grew up with Drew Bledsoe being our franchise quarterback. That was my first franchise quarterback for that team, Drew Bledsoe.
Right.
I was a Drew Bledsoe fan first before a Brady fan.
But they were even at least good and respectable in those years.
Yeah.
During the Bledsoe years.
Dude, him and Terry Glenn, man.
That's right. And that's when things started to change. People started to believe.
Ben Colts, Robert Edwards before he played in that that Hawaii All-Star Weekend flag football game, tearing up his knee and never being the same. That stuff like that.
There's a lot to take away from that stuff, even if the team isn't contending. I remember when I was a kid, you could go into Boston for 25 cents and go to the they used to have a lot more day games then. You'd go to Fenway and get in for $2 and sit in the bleachers and watch a game. And it's
wow.
I saw Hank
Aaron.
I saw Hank Aaron play in Fenway Park.
Word.
And I remember as a kid, we went to watch a game with our Little League team, and we were right by where the bullpen is now, and I remember just you could look right into the dugout and stuff. And I just remember sitting there thinking, wow, Babe Ruth sat in there, Ted Williams sat in there.
Yeah.
There was always something to take from it, even if the team wasn't contending. You could go and watch a really good pitcher just throw an awesome game, or whatever. But it's different now.
Wow.
Sports is big money and
security.
It's much more now about the TV experience.
Yeah.
Which is why all the games are at night and there's cameras everywhere and the state they priced everybody out of going to the stadiums basically.
Yeah. It's true.
May I say that I just one of my favorite nicknames is the Big Bambino. I just love that Bambino. I always love that.
Wait, can you see him?
Can you see him?
Oh, that's the Bambino?
Yeah. Now, if you look, that's a rare picture because that's him with a Red Sox uniform on. That was before he sold his soul to the devil and was traded to the Yankees.
And before he cursed the franchise. Yeah.
Well, that curse is dead.
It's been dead now.
But yeah, that's one of the reasons why I got that picture is because it's really rare.
That was when he was a pitcher.
Yeah.
He was a great pitcher for Boston.
Hey. Dan.
They were just well, it's not like he's going to have a great career. We'll just send him to New York.
Yeah. Traded for
Man.
Broadway money.
Broadway, yes. No, Nana. That was the name of the play.
Hey. Oh, Mike, I have my question to you, Chris. Tell me, do you still have that remote? And if so, do you still have that cheerleader on there?
Oh. That was Lori Baranski. And she was a head Patriot. Actually, I've got a brand new TV in this room, and I got a brand new remote system. So that remote is actually downstairs right now. We still own it, but it's
Is
not
that still set as the background?
I'll have to look. That's Lori Baranski. You can look her up. She was the Patriots' lead cheerleader.
Is the image still in that remote?
I think so. I'll have to go look.
That was
I bet it is.
When I went there
Never reset.
back in 2010, when we went there that week, like it's got to be like probably like my best one of my best like vacations I've ever had in my life.
Pizza rolls. Because we fed you pizza rolls. That's why. I still got a big bag there waiting for you, man. It's got like 72 pizza rolls in the bag.
I'll take that. But I'll take that any day, man. But I tell you, like eating pizza rolls and being able to sleep in that Boston shrine, man. Like I just feel
it's better now. I got more stuff in here now.
I was gonna say, yeah. They gotta stop winning rings, or else
I got out of room.
run out of room.
If I could choose a place to die at, like I would choose like that shrine of a room there.
Oh, man.
That I could die happy, a happy man.
I don't want to die in this room, and it's actually probably more likely. We have another game like last week.
Right. Or the Super Bowl.
Oh,
So the problem now is that for the rest of our like sports watching lives, we're going to be watching like a football game or whatever, and they're going to be down 21-3, 28-3. Well, this one time in the Super Bowl, they were down by 4 touchdowns and they came back, and so good lesson. Never turn the damn TV off.
But like it's never gonna happen again. But I tell you what, my humble opinion here, I don't think we're ever gonna be subjected. We're never gonna have a more thrilling game than that in our lifetime.
No,
I don't think so either. People are gonna talk about that
never. That's something I could tell my great grandkids about.
Right.
Like I mean, it's crazy.
My brother went to a very close friend to his house to watch that Super Bowl, and these people spared no expense. They had it catered, food and anything you could possibly want to drink, and they invited like 50 people over there to watch this game on the big TV. And he said by halftime, I think about early third quarter, because it was a Sunday night, people started leaving, and at the and within an hour, everyone was gone. My brother even left. My brother was the second last people that left. He went home. And during the drive home was when they started coming back. So he gets home. The guy was texting him while he was driving home. You suck. How can you leave me? And then he got home and ended up watching the rest of the game alone on his TV. This guy, Big Tim was his name. My brother's friend, Big Tim. Anyway, he ended up watching the game alone, pretty much alone. After all his company left. I always felt like really bad about that, but I can understand. I probably wouldn't want to sit there either. But.
Yeah. Ugh. It's always, because I remember in college we had a big party for the 2011 Super Bowl, the second one they lost to the Giants, and I really try so hard to not be that guy at a party.
Yeah.
But I got really upset, and I definitely I didn't leave, but I went in my room and closed the door. Just sat in there by myself for a while.
I kid you not.
I punched a door jamb and almost broke my hand that night.
Oh my God, really?
There was other stuff going on in my life at that point.
You're like, who left the Super Bowl? Because he said his kid was being a brat.
Wahlberg.
Mark Wahlberg.
Dang.
I forgot about that he left.
Because when they beat Seattle, he was right there with Tommy, and stuff. And like, I left again. Oh, wow.
Super Bowl 46, when we lost, I kind of went to the bathroom and I kind of was on my knees on the floor, kind of cried a little bit. And Super Bowl 42, it was back when we were downstairs. I walked upstairs and just kind of just sat by myself or something. and I could feel like somebody like maybe like calling to taunt me or something like that.
Yeah.
So as soon as the phone rung, I picked up the phone and closed it back down.
Oh,
Because I
damn.
didn't want nothing to do. Because like that's gotta be like the biggest loss I've ever seen and probably will ever witness. Like the loss of the undefeated season. Like my idea is if we were able as Patriots fans were able to withstand like that big of a loss, the biggest loss in like NFL history, and still come out as Patriot fans, still no one can ever question our fandom.
Yep.
And I'll never forget, like my dad like tried to go upstairs after the Super Bowl 42 loss. He was like, "Yeah, just checking to make sure you didn't hang yourself or anything."
Oh, that's hardcore.
That is brutal.
Because he knew how big of a loss that was.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it was a big one, but we've erased that now. It's okay. And it's going to be a long time before the Giants are like even a minor league team again.
But I can completely erase it once we beat the Giants in a darn Super Bowl.
Yeah.
That's when I can fully erase it.
No thanks. I'm cool with never watching another Giants-Patriots Super Bowl ever again.
No, I do have similar feelings where it's like, even as shitty as the Giants are now, I always think, well, I don't want
them to sneak into the playoffs.
No, we don't want them. And I feel kind of the same thing about Seattle too. I'm like, because that game was another one of those where it was like, oh, I went to bed and turned it off for about 10, 15 minutes. And then Megan came upstairs and said, my daughter was watching it downstairs and said, they were about to score. And I went, what? And I turned it on. And then I was like, all right, well, maybe they have a chance.
Yeah,
they should have run it with Lynch. Anyway.
They should have. That's why he retired for like a year, because he didn't like the politics there, and then he went back and played for the Raiders, and he was having fun again. So too bad they're not really that great of a team, though.
I think the same thing happened the other night. Was on the news, didn't they? Was it Lynch? They said it was a point of the game that the Raiders were playing in that they needed to run into the end zone, and
oh god,
and they didn't give it to him, and they go, why?
Is that when Derek Carr?
Yeah.
He rolled out, looked like he was trying to throw, but he tried to scramble. He had the first down, but then he dove and he like basically just pushed the ball like out of bounds and for a touchback.
Yeah. Everybody was saying, why didn't they just give it to Lynch?
That dude can't buy a touchdown.
Oh, yeah. I don't know.
That's funny.
So next, okay, so let's go on to like another topic here. We're about to witness some history this Sunday, hopefully. One more game to go, man. The Cleveland Browns. The Cleveland Browns. Who they play this week?
0-16, yeah.
They're playing, I think, Pittsburgh, right?
Oh gosh.
Wait. Okay, hold on. Let me verify.
Yeah,
They are.
It is.
The last game of the
Pittsburgh.
season is against Pittsburgh. So Pittsburgh will.
Can you imagine though if somehow Cleveland wins that game? Can you imagine?
Well, tell you what, if you want to make a bunch of money, you can bet on it. Put some money down on that.
Right. The level after what's happened the last couple of weeks, the level of butthurt from Pittsburgh fans.
Yeah. No,
I guess.
Oh man.
I guess they really wouldn't lose playoff seeding because of that, because they've clinched a first round bye. But still.
I think that's kind of weird, though. I guess because they have like more wins than Jacksonville. But remember, Jacksonville obliterated them early in the season. So if Jacksonville won their wild card game, and let's see, the lowest level, the lowest seeding. Let's see, lowest seeding would play the Patriots. The highest seed would play like the number 2 seed. So we could possibly see a Jacksonville Pittsburgh game.
Yeah. That would be interesting.
Yeah, I mean, Roethlisberger threw, 5 interceptions that game? Wow.
And who's New England likely to play in the first round?
Kansas
If
City.
the Ravens make it in as a 6 seed, it'll probably be the Ravens if they win.
No, it's going to be Kansas City.
I don't want to look at Kansas City again either.
Kansas City, because, Kareem Hunt, we owe them a beating.
Yeah.
That was embarrassing.
But briefly on the Browns, what's kind of funny about that is that report that came out that when the Patriots decided that they had to trade Jimmy G, they specifically were like, we got to do right by this kid by not trading him to Cleveland.
Yeah. That was part of the deal.
Let's get him somewhere with an actual. And I mean, it's pretty sad because it's not like San Francisco's been much better of late, but
they've won every game since that Jimmy G has started.
5 in a row, right? Something like that. 4 in a row,
But-
5 in a row. Something.
But even the dysfunction of San Francisco, they were like, that is a better landing spot for him than Cleveland.
But so why did they trade Jamie Collins to Cleveland? Did they not like Jamie Collins?
I guess they didn't like him as much as Jimmy G, and I mean he is an older guy too, and he did sign an extension with them. I want to say after he got there.
Yeah,
And
but
I
it's
think he
also
tore his
because of the high, whatever round they got for him.
Yeah,
It's going to be high.
But
if it was a
but
second rounder, or
did-
whatever they
Didn't
got.
he tear his meniscus this year? Or no, his MCL or something? Yeah, he tore his MCL and
Collins?
is missing the rest of the season. Yep.
I think so. Yeah,
Yeah.
sucks.
Is he the guy that was smoking the fake ganja?
No, that was Chandler Jones.
All right, I get that.
Chandler
Oh my God,
Jones.
Chandler Jones.
Although he has actually been really good this year for Arizona, and
Mm-hmm.
kind of sucks that they got rid of him, especially given that they really need pass rushers. But
Yeah.
I tell you who's one of my favorite defensive guys on the Patriots. Devin McCourty.
he's fantastic.
I love Vic. I
McCourty
love McCourty,
twins.
man. The McCourty twins. That's what they need. They need Jason just to come in and be a nickel corner for us.
It'd be great.
Who do you think should be MVP right now? Who is your front runner right now? And I do stretch front runner because I've been seeing something on Google or something about possibility of maybe Todd Gurley is in the MVP race.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm just a fantasy guy, but yeah, my pick's Gurley.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's tearing up the place right now. I think
I don't know.
they're saying he's the front runner. I don't know how they know that, but I think Brady's high up there too, and so is
I don't think Brady's played good, but he hasn't played as great as he normally does. So and he's thrown enough, more interceptions than he should have.
Yeah,
it is a narrative award,
because he's a quarterback. He's always going to be in discussion of that. But
do you think they adjust that for age? Do you think I'm on
is it a curve?
Yeah, do you think they adjust it on a curve because he plays at that level at 40?
I mean,
I wonder.
but
I'm just thinking.
here's the thing. But here's my pick though. He's kind of slid down the totem pole as a front runner. But if he gets his team in the playoffs, I'm putting in a vote for Russell Wilson.
but see, I would have been with you, but Russ had kind of a couple of stinkers the last few weeks.
Oh, the Rams one. Oh yeah, that big collapse there.
I don't think you can give the MVP award to that guy, and it sucks because I love him. He's awesome, and he was my fantasy ride or die, and that week took me out of the playoffs, so I'm a little bitter. But
Me too.
But
wait, no, give it to Ezekiel Elliott because those 6 games just derailed the Cowboys.
fair. I don't.
He's too much of a douche. Sorry, but
No, you're talking. No, you must be talking. Well, yes, but you're probably also referring to his owner, Jerry Jones.
yeah, he is too.
Let's talk about them Cowboys, man.
God.
They blew it. They're out of the playoffs, man. And how fitting was it to play a dumpster of a game for them to be eliminated and to choke like they did
at home against not a great team.
against a hungry Seahawks team that somehow, some way manages to get in the playoffs. Always, even if half their team, half their best defensive players out for the year or dealing with serious injuries, they still somehow managed to get in the playoffs. I mean, for crying out loud, they were 7-9 and got into the playoffs, and that was the legendary Marshawn Lynch game.
That was the Beast Boy game.
When they upset the Saints. Yeah.
Yeah, man. And Roger Goodell signed the extension, so Jerry Jones is 0-2 on the season.
Yeah.
Man.
Oh, yeah.
That guy.
I don't like him either.
I mean, here's a question though, to you guys: do you really think like Jason Garrett actually coaches?
Is he just
I
like
wonder.
a figurehead?
Probably. I mean, think about this. Like the person that would not kiss his butt, right, or worship him as like a demigod, Jimmy Johnson. He did things his way, and he won the way he wanted to. But since he would not stroke his ego, he was fired, even though he was a good coach. And then who's the guy that he hired next that won another Super Bowl with the players of Jimmy Johnson's?
Oh, I know who you're talking about. Barry Switzer.
Switzer. Yeah.
Who brought in rapists and criminals.
Yeah, great guy.
Who's Switzer?
Switzer did. He was under. There was a big controversy about that. Some of the players that he signed were ones that were, I don't know, tossed out of college. They were under investigation for this and that, all kinds of shit during the. I don't even know those years, 1990s, right?
Yeah, this would have been mid-90s.
90s. Switzer was not a good coach at all.
But I mean, like, how many
Didn't
years
stick
has
around
it?
too long.
How many years has Garrett coached for? Like 3-4 years?
Yeah, it's like
Longer
3.
than that. He's been there for a long time.
Before that, it was what's his name?
During the Romo years.
Yeah.
And they had
So,
Parcells there for a while.
Yeah, but after him, who was right before Garrett?
Wade Phillips.
And then one before that, Tuna coached there for a little
For
bit.
a little while, a couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just,
Quincy Carter.
And then Drew Bledsoe played on that squad. He helped usher Romo in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh wow. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Poor Drew.
But yeah, I think it's pretty weak when the owner comes down and stands on the friggin' sideline, behind the coach during the game.
Yeah. Dan, do you remember that time you told me this? It was like it came out like straight out Blitz the League, the video game, when Romo like got injured and went to the locker room, and Jerry Jones just goes into the locker room to see if he could still go.
No, it was the game where Romo had a fucked up back, and
the back, yep.
And he was on. They were on the trainer were on the sidelines, kind of working on him, and then they just showed a shot of Jerry Jones standing on the sidelines talking to some people, and then like 2 plays later, Romo came back in the game.
Oh, really?
And that was when he had I think a messed up vertebrae or something.
Yeah, he broke a bone in his back.
Yeah.
Oh, yep. And then didn't he get injured the next game or something, and then was sidelined?
Yeah, and after that. Yeah, he was playing hurt. Pretty hurt.
And definitely, years ago there was this football game on the Xbox called Blitz the League.
Yeah, I remember it.
Yeah, it was kind of ridiculous over the top stuff, but you had the option. Yeah, when your players got hurt, you had the option of giving them a steroid injection on the sideline and shoving them back into the game.
Hey, that's a little too realistic.
And
don't worry, help is on the way.
Yeah, exactly. Get in there.
But yeah, it was.
That game cost me $5 on eBay, and that's the most fun I ever had. For the fun to price ratio, that's the greatest deal I ever had.
It was a lot of fun.
Wow.
It was
really.
But yeah, good stuff. It had Lawrence Taylor in it.
Yeah, but see, back then it wasn't realistic. Now it is.
I was gonna say.
Tell me, Chris, tell me you remember I know this is me digressing a little bit, but tell me you remember that one Sega game I showed you, Celtics versus Lakers in the NBA playoffs, when it had Larry Bird with that bright yellow hair.
Yeah, I do. I remember that.
And it took them 10 seconds to run up the court.
Yeah.
Because of, game programming.
That's right. I remember that.
Have you ever heard of Bill Lambier's combat basketball?
Oh no.
No, but I know he used to wear it looked like he wore combat boots on the court. He didn't even know how to play, man. That guy was just a thug.
He
wore the black hat. He wore the black hat.
Yeah, we love to play the Pistons.
He had a signature Super Nintendo game called.
Did he really combat basketball?
Combat basketball.
Yeah, that's pretty much how he played. It's always going to be.
To be fair to my brother is a big Pistons fan, so he grew up during the Bad Boys and stuff. It was
Dennis Rodman, Bill Lambier, Isaiah Thomas,
original Isaiah Thomas,
Zeke.
Who's the guy? Vinny something. They call him a microwave.
Vinny Johnson.
Vinny Johnson. Microwave because he heats up.
Sally.
Because he heats up quick. Yeah. That's why they call him that, the microwave.
And John Sally.
It's sad that I can call out their lineup today, even still, but yeah.
You remember it? That was a rivalry, man. Like, think about it.
They
that team
had wars with the Pistons.
That team had to fight in the war zone of Celtics, Lakers, and the Chicago Bulls. And I don't think they're giving enough credit for them hanging in there and like trying to hanging on their own, standing strong on their own against like that. Probably like the best teams ever. Like
right. And their situation is kind of like now in the AFC East, where anyone who's in the AFC East, they're pretty much playing for a wild card. They know every year. So they are building teams to beat the Patriots. You gotta beat the Patriots. Right. Well, it was the same thing back then in the NBA. The Pistons had to figure out a way because they were in the East Finals against the Celtics every freaking year.
You gotta beat Larry.
They had to, and this is after Philadelphia trailed off. Once Dr. J retired and Philadelphia, it was the Pistons, and they had wars. And when they finally overcame the Celtics. This is one classy thing, though, I will tell you, that when they finally overcame the Celtics, I do not remember what year it was. It was right before Bird retired. Bird was hurt, another guy was hurt, and they beat the Celtics in 6 games at the Garden. When the Pistons beat them and were going to the finals, everyone in the Garden stood up and applauded them and started to chant, "Beat LA." They sent them out of the Garden with their support, which I thought was pretty
regardless,
incredible.
Beat LA, because they didn't like LA either.
Yeah, beat the Lakers. As long as it isn't, as long as the Lakers don't win, we were behind you.
Make sure our loss ain't in vain.
Yeah, and those were wars too. When I was a young man, and there was a time when I'd never seen interest in anything. People that didn't even like basketball watched that stuff because it was a classic matchup of not only, like so many things were playing, not only was it East Coast, West Coast, Celtics, Lakers, but it was the Celtics were a blue-collar team. And even if you looked at them, they looked like guys that maybe would almost come in with a lunch pail and just go to work and do their job, right? And the Lakers were flash. They were LA, they were Hollywood, they were flashy and fancy, and 2 different styles, 2 different coasts, and they would meet and have these wars every year almost. I'd never seen anything like that. Everyone watched, and it was always good.
And it also became like a race thing too.
It was a team that had a lot of white guys on it, and a team that was all black. It was like that. It was just so many differences. And I remember someone on the Lakers said, "Well, Larry Bird would be just another player if he was black or something like that." I mean, it was just like all this stuff that came up, but it was some of the best basketball I have ever seen. I mean,
have you seen anything better than that?
No, the game is way different now. Way different. I saw an interview with
teams.
Yeah, I saw an interview with Magic Johnson. It was not all that long ago. It was a special. It was about Magic Johnson and Larry Bird's relationship, their friendship.
Yeah,
and he said that no matter where we went to play, he goes, when we came to Boston, it was different. He goes, because the bullshit started at the airport. He goes, with baggage handlers, throwing our bags down and saying, "You ain't going to have no Magic tonight, f***ers." Stuff like that. He goes, "Can you beep that out? I'm sorry."
Oh, yeah.
And then it would be like, in the taxi, they would get shit in the taxi cab and get shit at their hotel. And he goes, then they would get to the Boston Garden, which was a dump. And it would still smelled like elephant poop from the circus, and he goes, in their locker room, the hot water wouldn't work, and they had no AC. He goes, it was just, the entire city was was against us, from the moment we touched down. And it was just that kind of thing, it was just awesome to see. I'm glad I got a chance to experience it, because I don't think any rivalry will ever, equal.
Really, and yeah.
But one thing you can oh sorry, I apologize, not me cutting you off earlier. I just want go the importance of how it was with the whole race thing as well. But one thing you cannot deny about the Lakers, Magic Johnson's smile.
Oh yeah,
second to none smile, man. I don't think I've seen a prettier smile from Magic Johnson. That smile, man.
Well, I like Jennifer. What's her name?
Jennifer Lawrence.
Jennifer Lawrence has a better smile than Magic Johnson in my book. But hey,
in terms of an athlete, though.
He had a lot of charm.
Yeah,
I can't.
He still do.
I look at it now, I can't hate Magic Johnson, even though he was our opponent for so many years, because I think he had a lot of charisma and he was an awesome player. And what better credit can you give anybody than they're a formidable warrior, right? I mean,
yeah, respect, and that was kind of what their relationship was.
Tons of respect,
was just mutual respect, and
yeah.
I remember watching that documentary with you, and him saying that he was the first person that Magic called after he found out he had AIDS.
Sick. That's right. And he wrote in the epilogue of his book, he said, "I fear no man except Larry Bird." I fear no man.
he was the first person to do what now?
Bird called Magic Johnson, was the first person to call him when it was publicized that Magic Johnson had AIDS.
No, he still has HIV because he has the medicine that keeps it from going to AIDS.
Right, I'm sorry, he doesn't have AIDS. He was HIV positive. You're right.
AIDS is you're done.
Sick.
That's when your body just rejected. Yeah,
but people didn't want to
much up on nobody.
Right, but people didn't want to play with him because there was a lot of misinformation about that illness and stuff then, and
the 90s.
Right, and they I think believe that was weren't they in the Olympics then too that year?
I think so.
There was a lot of stuff about that, and Bird was a huge supporter of his publicly and privately, and
Karl Malone wasn't. He was like, I don't know, bleeding on me and stuff and giving me that stuff. He spoke his mind on that. He was like,
No, that's true, but that's a lesson for all of us. I mean, you don't have to hate somebody just because you're play against them, or whatever. You can have somebody as an opponent, or somebody who has different views, or whatever, and not have hatred towards them. I mean, I don't like the Lakers. If I even see their logo, I go But I don't. I respect the people that the Celtics played against because it was incredible entertainment.
Okay,
that's what it's all about.
My question to you, Chris, is: how do you feel about the super team era? People everyone just trying to join up on one or two or three teams to try and win a ring.
Yeah, well, that seems like where it is right now. I mean, I don't know. I think it kind of takes away. I don't know.
Is it fun to know that the Warriors are going to go to the finals every year?
No, not really. But there was a time when the Celtics were the super team.
Fair.
Back in the 1960s, would they win 8 championships in a row or something? And 11 in 12 years or something like that. I mean...
Yeah, but it's not like they had Dr. J, jump ship from Philly to go and join them for, an easy ring.
No, you're right. You're right. They, Red Auerbach built those teams, and he was a genius,
Red.
Yeah, I don't...
Red.
I think... That's why I think there should be, salary caps and that kind of stuff, too. I think everyone should play at an even playing field.
Well, the thing is, now they have the max salary. So, LeBron makes the same as, the 30th best player in the NBA and stuff like that, because there's, a maximum amount that you can make per contract. And I think
they have salaries just different from all the other sports.
I think that's kind of what specifically enables that in the NBA, is that you have guys who say, well, literally every team is offering me the same salary, so hell yeah, I'm going to go play with Dwayne Wade,
Right.
Why not?
And next year he's going to L.A.
Well,
that's what everybody's saying, that he's going to go play for the freaking Lakers.
We don't want the Lakers to reemerge.
No. I liked it better when they were bad.
To me, I'm a Bulls fan, so I'm still trying to see if we can recover from the whole Derrick Rose debacle and and Michael Jordan leaving us and whatnot. But I mean, I it's weird because I'm always seeing I guess me growing up, I've always seen the Lakers be good. So it's weird me seeing them bad. So I'm at least rooting for Lonzo Ball and Kyle Kuzma. Because I think they're good. I think they're good guys.
Yeah.
I'm starting to become a bigger fan of Kyle Kuzma though, because he was that guy that nobody expected to be good. Lonzo he's number 2 pick overall, and of course he has that baggage of his dad and whatnot. But Kyle Kuzma's a guy that's grinded. He was picked 27 or something, and I think he's proven that he might be better than Lonzo Ball.
He might be.
But what you were saying about the super teams, I wanted to throw in also that the good side of that is when they get beaten. Not if it's the Patriots, but I'm saying the year the Red Sox went up against the Yankees in 2004, and nobody expected them to win, and then they went down 3 games, right? They went down 3 games, and they had to come back. And
I mean, to be fair though, y'all did have Jesus playing on your team though.
That's right.
Johnny Damon.
And I remember them saying at that time that the Red Sox can't win with Christ himself playing in center field. They'll never win.
True.
But no, I mean, but that was the whole story right there. It wasn't because the Yankees field a freaking all-star team every year, just about, And the Red Sox are always going to be the poor younger brother because it's a smaller market, and it's just different in Boston.
They're always trying to sign all the same players, and they always get outbid.
Yeah, they're always trying to play catch up with the Yankees, and that year, to watch them come back, there was nothing sweeter ever than that, and
man,
so it was good to see, the giant fall at the hands of the younger brother. It was great.
Yeah. Or 2001, where they played the Diamondbacks in the World Series, that crazy 7 game.
That's right. They lost to the Diamondbacks. We were in Kodiak. We watched that one. So I mean, I think it's not just signing superstars. You have to have chemistry. You have to have chemistry. Almost every time you see a really, really good team, they have those intangibles that they talk about all the time. It isn't just big names and big salaries, although that's part of it.
It's got to fit. It's got to be cohesive.
It has to. It has to fit all together.
I thought it was really good with Dirk Nowitzki getting his first and only championship ring when he beat the mighty Heat.
Yeah.
I mean, that was great. I mean, it was good to see. It gave a lot of people stuff to cheer about and to follow, and that keeps people interested.
We talk about Magic Johnson. Do you think Ben Simmons has the potential of being Magic Johnson-esque? A 6'10" point guard?
Well, I think he's got a ways to go yet.
He's only a rookie, so
we're only 30 games in.
Yeah,
but and aren't they having some issues over there in Philadelphia? Isn't the process on hold a little bit?
Well, because Embiid has missed some games this year. And whenever he's off the field, they lose more than they win.
Yeah.
But they won yesterday. They beat Kristaps Porzingis. I gotta say, I love that name.
Kristaps.
Kristaps.
I don't think I know him.
He's the only player on the Knicks.
Oh, okay.
The Knicks just have one player.
Well, and they do have former number 2 overall pick Michael Beasley, who last week was just going off for a bunch of points.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, you remember me? I wasn't. Hey, I'm not a bust that's out of the league yet. So
I didn't know he was still in the NBA. So
he went to China and scored 30, 40 points a game, and then got back into the NBA.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that.
Do you know, Chris, that Stephon Marbury is a Chinese basketball legend?
He's still playing?
I don't know if he's still playing, but all I know is he had a statue erected in his honor of him being embroidered as a as a statue of him holding like the Chinese championship trophy.
Yeah.
There's a statue of him.
Really?
Of Stephon Marbury
Wow.
somewhere in China.
I did not know that.
So he is a Chinese basketball legend.
Wow. Well, if not in this country, then in another one. I guess that's okay.
I mean, well, he was good back in the day. Like,
Yeah,
him
he played
and
before he
KG.
came to the Celtics.
He would.
Philadelphia.
You would know this, D. I can't. I'm blanking on where he played, where he was famous for playing.
Came to the Celtics late
Minnesota.
in his career.
Minnesota, and then he played for the Knicks.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah. I remember when he was on the
I
Knicks.
think he only played for the Celtics 2 years, maybe?
Something like
Probably.
that. Yeah, it was kind of during the Kevin Garnett era.
It had to be short because I remember him playing like on the T-Bulls with KG,
Yeah.
and then he played for the Knicks, and then went downhill.
Remember when the Celtics... Didn't the Celtics also have Sam Cassell for a hot second?
Yep. For like a year.
And Chauncey Billups before y'all
Chauncey.
knew exactly what you had in Chauncey, and then
Yeah,
he was
they
like
drafted him.
with
They traded him
Detroit,
away. That was...
and then he became Mr. Big Shot for Detroit.
Was that Patino? Did Patino do
Tino
that?
traded him away.
Oh, God.
Oh, Patino.
That was the
about-
year he said... That was the year he justified all this shit by saying, look, Larry Bird and Kevin McHale aren't walking through this door anymore. And you all you fans of the Celtics are going to have to get over it. Larry Bird and Kevin McHale aren't coming back. So we've got to do whatever we have to do. And it's like...
I tell you though,
it's just the way he said it.
I tell you though, like
They were supposed to draft Tim Duncan,
mm,
and then they didn't win the draft lottery.
Oh, that's right. They didn't.
They tanked to draft Tim Duncan.
That's right. And then they were like, the draft lottery, they were like number 8 or something, right?
I tell you though.
So you know what? Karma comes back because
Yeah.
they weren't supposed to win the lottery this year. So
Yeah, but and y'all got a good guy in Tatum.
He's awesome.
Yeah,
Jason Tatum.
yeah. Is it too soon to say like y'all dodged a bullet with Fultz? Like, because I guess it's too early, but they got to see what happens. But it's not looking good right now for the whole Markelle Fultz experiment.
He needs to get back healthy, and he needs to learn to shoot.
Yeah.
Not to be mean, but yeah.
But let me say this though, like the Celtics front office, I felt like was at first trying to set up Brad Stevens, maybe be like a scapegoat of a coach for a couple years and then fire him. But when he took the guys that were given to him and coached them up to be a playoff team, like he solidified himself to me as being one of the best coaches in the league right now.
Yeah. It's crazy
Easily,
what he's been able to accomplish.
I mean, you see it. He looks like he has like that. Still kind of has like a fresh baby face, like he's like in college or something. Like he's a I don't know, like a he kind of looks like one of those like older like college RAs or something like that. So it's I mean, he did coach Butler, and like he got that team right, and then he just went in and just did the same thing in the NBA. They weren't supposed to be number 1 seed last year, but he coached them to be that. Yes, there's outliers of like, hey, probably the Cavaliers probably just tanked a little bit, but Brad Stevens has been consistent ever since he got into the league. He's kind of like reminds me of like Eric Spoelstra. People didn't give Spoelstra a chance. They thought like Wade and Wade Bosch and LeBron James are the ones coaching the team and not him. And he's just like just a face in like that position. But he can actually coach. And Brad Stevens, he can coach.
Yeah, he was young when he got the job, but he's done very well. And
I honestly think I probably look like I'm older than Brad Stevens right now.
well, look at this year. They lost one of their best players in the first game of the year, opening night, and they've still done very well. And that right there could have been kind of an excuse to play like shit for a while.
Hey, Dan, I tell you who looks older than Brad Stevens. Blake Bortles.
Yeah, he really does. That poor man.
Your running gag of him looking like a 40-year-old like high school football coach.
He really does, though.
Really? I haven't noticed.
Okay.
I'll have to look.
Hold on. I'm just going to type Blake Bortles in here.
I tell you who else look old. Chris Wanke.
Oh no!
How old do you think this guy is?
Oh man, he looks like he's my age,
He's like 24.
and I'm like 75.
This dude is 24 years. Look at this.
What? He's not 24.
He's 24. Or maybe 25, but he's...
Oh man, he's got gray beard.
What?
Do you think maybe that's just from playing in Jacksonville?
Yeah, it's from being chased around by linebackers all day long.
There we go.
Oh, that's crusty. Man.
You wouldn't think, right?
Yeah, he's old. You're right. He's old.
I definitely
I look better. I look younger than him.
Yeah.
And I probably got a couple years on him.
Just a couple. Was only drafted a few years ago.
I'm Italian. I age like fine wine. Or cheese.
What does that make me?
I don't know. Did you see the video of the Steelers fan watching the end of that game? The fan watching TV?
Oh yeah. Didn't he slam like a bowl of popcorn or throw didn't he break
dip.
stuff?
It was dip. It was all over the ceiling.
Yeah, it was dip. Yeah.
Oh,
I saw that on
watched
Twitter.
It like on a tiny screen, so I couldn't tell what it was.
Yeah, they were showing the camera afterwards on a ceiling as well.
Oh my god. Do you remember, I can't remember what game it was, but do you remember the video of the Dallas fan punching his fist through his TV?
Oh no, I never saw that.
I think that was after the playoff game last year, where Aaron Rodgers beat him with the Jared Cook catch.
Man. What is it that, I've been upset before, but I'm not going to destroy my house,
Never.
if my team loses.
I mean, I guess the one time, and it was that Super Bowl party in college where I smacked the door jamb with my hand. I don't know why that was the part of the door I picked to hit. But my hand immediately hurt, and I immediately felt really stupid for having done that. So I never did it again.
It won't help them win.
It's true. It is very true.
That's what my girlfriend tells me. Hey, no matter how loud you yell at the TV, they're not going to hear you, and they're not going to play any better.
That reminds me. I think
that's how I cope. That's how I cope to these things, man.
I yell too.
Yeah, you guys are, both of you are very high volume sports fans.
My wife makes me come up in this room and shut the door when I'm watching.
My dad was high volume, and my brother's high volume. Yeah, it just comes with the territory of my family.
Yeah, I scare the shit out of the cats. They run out of the room.
Dude, my mom even said that she threw a pen last week when she was watching the Steelers and Patriots game. She threw like an ink pen.
Oh my god. I will admit I am pretty much the complete opposite. I sit like I'm at like an art house movie in complete silence, and every now and then when they score a single clap.
Yeah, he'll put a hand out for a high five. That's about it. That's all you get out of him.
I thought this would be kind of funny, maybe a good topic to end on. Craziest superstition that you've ever had. Any weird thing you've done for good luck. Mine is that I had this little Darth Vader figurine during the 2007 season. And every game I had him point at the TV the whole year. And including the Super Bowl, and that was when I decided I was done with superstition because they didn't win that game even with the Darth Vader figurine.
Wow, that's a really good one. All right, here's mine. I have a Patriots game jersey, and I have a Red Sox game jersey, and I do not generally put that jersey on when they're actually playing the game. A rare instance, like I did this weekend when you and I, because I would put the jersey on and sit down, and they would throw out one of those shit games, like every time. So I just don't put the jersey on until the game is in hand. When the game is in hand, when they're up by 3 touchdowns and there's 2 minutes left, I'll put the jersey on then, and then I'll go downstairs.
Wait, of a specific player or just a team in general?
It doesn't matter. I have a Brady jersey and I have a Kevin Falk jersey, but I would not put on a Patriots jersey or a Red Sox jersey while the game is going on until the game is in hand. And then once it's in hand, I'll go get a beer, I'll put the jersey on, and then because if I put it on too early,
knew that.
Yeah, they won't win. That is, I know, that's mental illness, basically.
I've learned something about you today.
I'm actually opposite. Like I feel like if I don't wear a jersey, sometimes if there's times where I don't wear a jersey, then like I don't think they do. The Patriots don't do well. But like if they're winning and if I'm wearing normal stuff, I'm like, okay, cool. But if they're starting to lose, I'm like, oh crap! No wonder they're losing. I don't have my jersey, so I put that on.
Wait. This is a logical paradox.
It is. Maybe it's because you're the yin and I'm the yang.
I think that's what it is.
I don't see no other explanation there, man. I don't.
You and I have achieved balance in the force.
In the universe.
We have brought balance to the force, which Luke could not do.
It's true. Yeah.
Wow. This is awesome.
Man.
This is really good.
Well, like my crazy superstition was like, and it only happened one time though, like, but I'm gonna say just confirmed because I'm gonna say it because it actually worked. You remember that time I was at the senior year and we were at the Hodgins apartment and it was like that year when it was the AFC championship. I missed most of the championship game because I had like cheerleading practice. Yeah, I did like cheerleading like senior year. Interesting story for another time.
Okay.
But I was there for like saw the fourth quarter, and it was like I heard it was just like a terrible game and everything, but because the Patriots struggling, Brady was struggling and stuff. Then they managed to get like points, but
that was the karate chop game, right?
Yep. And then, like, Sterling Moore, the karate chop heard around the world. And as a result of that, they had the the tie or to tie the game. They had to kick a field goal with what was his name? What was the
Gostkowski? Gostkowski?
No, it would have been the Ravens kicker, right?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Was that Justin Tucker?
No. That was before Tucker.
I can't remember the dude's name now.
Football Reference?
Sure. Hold on. Mm-hmm. This was 2011?
Yeah.
2011 Ravens. I was just on the 1967 Boston Patriots page.
Oh, cool. Gino Cappelletti.
Roster. How do I find the roster? This is great radio. Billy Cundiff.
Oh, yeah, I remember him.
That's not a name I was expecting to hear today.
Billy Cundiff, he shanked it and I stood up, right? And it was like they were prepping, like they had called timeout. They were prepping to kick the field goal, and I stood up, and for some reason I started I guess I was like shifting my hips, so it was like a half shift, like half gyrating my hips, like one side to another, like right and left, and I was like shake it, shake it. Shake it and shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it. And like our friend Joy, who's been on the show, she witnessed that and she thought it was like the craziest but most adorable thing ever. And then he missed. Then he shanked the darn field goal, and we were going to the Super Bowl. And I thought that my shank it dance helped them, just bump that kick away from the uprights.
So anyway, I guess we should probably wrap it up. We've been going for a while here. This was fun, guys.
It was.
I love it, man.
I want to thank you guys for letting me sit in with you tonight. This is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
We want I would like for you to be to come back on the show sometime, man, because this was great.
Oh, absolutely, anytime.
And plus, I feel a lot less outnumbered by our general public, in terms of Patriot and Boston fans versus non-Patriot and Boston fans.
No.
So you help me feel more at home.
That's the language we speak here.
See?
I know. I mean, here's the thing. How am I a big Patriot fan and didn't even grow up close to Boston?
I've often wondered this myself. Because you don't talk like us.
I don't. Maybe it's because
Just take the R out completely. Take the letter R completely out of your language. So it's ah.
And end every sentence with "you bastard." And you can go to Boston and you'll be fine.
special appreciation to Chris here, just giving us and blessing and gracing us with his intelligence and awesome, rich experience as being a Boston everything fan. Like,
thank you.
Really appreciate that, because I've never been exposed to somebody who's like that rich in their Boston sports. So that's, it's kind of like me discovering like a long lost like father figure. So thank you on that.
It's
and
the
that's
pizza
why I
rolls.
love you. Yeah, definitely. Thanking Dan here being my partner in crime here.
As
And
always, buddy.
And thank you to the fans and audience, all 5 of our audience members.
I was going to say 2, but I guess our audience has grown.
Maybe. Hey, I like to remain the optimist.
I think our
whoever's
last
gonna watch
episode
it-
had 7 streams on SoundCloud, so we're doing better.
I like it, man. But I appreciate everyone's support. Everyone's been part of the show. Hopefully, we just keep bringing these episodes in, and to us, this is like really therapeutic, and it's a lot of fun. So as long as it stays fun, and it's just like 2 dudes sharing their love for sports and displaying their bromance to like the audience around the world, like we're gonna keep doing what we're doing here. So So on that note, this has been D with 2 E's and
Dan.
with the A
And Chris
Yeah.
with 1 S.
There you go.
With 1 S.
And-
I like this gag.
Yeah, but
I wish I could just hug you all, but I'm not gonna.
someday he will. On that note, may you all stay safe, enjoy life, and be kind to one another, and love the if you love the world of sports, hey, keep doing it. If not, like, spend time on the things that you do care about.
If you don't
Like,
love the world of sports, why the hell are you listening to this?
Well, they want to hear me.
Right,
Yep.
right.
all
That
this
must be
stuff. But peace, love, and happiness. Take care, everybody.
it. Peace.
Bye.
Should we go ahead and start?
Let's rock.
Record?
So, hi everybody.
No, I haven't hit the record button. Crap.
Wait, you haven't?
No, I haven't. Wait a minute. 1, 2.
God, we've been rolling for about 15 minutes.